Welcome to the heart of an ancient, misty forest, where giant trees touch the sky, hiding secrets of the soul within their deep, emerald shadows. In the deepest silence of nature, a presence lingers, waiting to emerge from the darkness into the dim light of a new and very uncertain morning. Two amber eyes ignite like burning coals within the shadows, reflecting a spirit that is both majestic and deeply troubled by an unseen, heavy internal weight. A powerful tiger emerges, his muscles rippling with strength. Yet his posture reveals a heavy exhaustion that no physical predator could ever truly cause to him. Despite his status as the king of the woods, his gaze is fixed downward, trapped in a cycle of observation that drains his very life essence. Every step he takes is heavy, his paws crunching on the forest floor, as he remains oblivious to the beauty surrounding him in this vast wilderness. Behind him, a dark shape follows, a silhouette that stretches and bends, mimicking every move with a persistent and haunting precision that never seems to end. To the tiger, this is not just a shadow. It is a monstrous reflection, a dark companion that he cannot escape, no matter how far he... The sun reaches its peak, casting sharp, dark outlines upon the earth, making the tiger's phantom enemy appear more real and threatening than ever before today. With a sudden, primal roar, the tiger turns to face his tormentor, baring his fangs at the dark patch of ground that dares to follow him. He leaps with terrifying speed, claws extended, striking at the dirt and leaves where the shadow lies. Desperate to tear his enemy into many small pieces, dust billows and dry leaves scatter in the wind. But as the air clears, the shadow remains perfectly intact, unmoved by the tiger's violent and angry. Again and again he strikes at the void, his heart racing with a mixture of fury and confusion, as his strongest attacks find no physical resistance. Realizing he cannot kill what he cannot touch, the tiger begins to run, weaving through the ancient trunks to lose his dark and very persistent pursuer. He pushes his body to the limit, leaping over fallen logs and racing past stone walls. Yet the shadow stays glued to his every single movement. The faster he flees, the more the shadow seems to mock him, dancing rhythmically beneath his feet, an inseparable part of his own frantic and desperate. Exhausted and panting, the tiger reaches the edge of a crystal-clear stream, his reflection in the water meeting the shadow on the rocky and uneven bank. His legs give way, and the great beast collapses onto the cool earth, his breath coming in ragged gasps as his energy finally fades completely away. His eyes burn with a desperate anger, looking at the shadow that has finally stopped moving, resting right where he rests, silent and utterly invincible today. It is a battle with no victor, a struggle against a phantom that exists only because the light shines upon a body that refuses to let. Not far away, in a glade where the air feels still and holy, a different kind of power resides, untouched by the chaos of the hunt. A wise old sage sits in perfect stillness beneath an ancient banyan tree, his presence radiating a warmth that seems to soothe the very forest air. Here lies the contrast of existence. A beast consumed by a shadow of his own making, and a man who has found peace within the light. The sage opens his eyes, filled with deep compassion, as he observes the mighty tiger trembling in its futile war against the dark and silent ground. A soft smile touches the old man's lips, not of mockery, but of profound understanding for the suffering that comes from a mind that is misunderstood. With a slow, deliberate gesture, the sage points toward a small deer nearby, quietly grazing on the golden grass, unaware of any conflict or internal strife. The deer also casts a shadow upon the earth, yet it does not turn to fight it. It simply accepts the sun and the grass today. In the deer's simple existence, there is a lesson of grace, a natural wisdom that the king of the forest has forgotten in his great pride. The sage speaks, his voice like the rustle of silk, carrying a truth that cuts through the tiger's roar and the forest's many complex layers. Why do you fight the dark, great king? The shadow has no power to harm you, unless you give it your own strength by your fear. The tiger freezes, the fire in his eyes replaced by a flickering curiosity, as the sage's stillness begins to settle over his own wild heart. As the sun begins to dip below the horizon, the golden hour transforms the forest, blurring sharp lines between the objects and their dark shadows. Today, following the sage's silent guidance, the tiger slowly lowers his heavy body to the ground, choosing for the first time to stop his relentless, tiring pursuit. He closes his eyes, shutting out the external world, and turns his attention inward, away from the phantom that has haunted his every step for years. His massive chest rises and falls in a slow, rhythmic cadence, matching the pulse of the earth as he lets the tension bleed out of him. As his mind becomes still, a strange phenomenon occurs. The shadow on the ground begins to shift, losing its jagged edges and its terrifying, monstrous form. In a beautiful display of light and geometry, the shadow begins to dissolve, drawn back into the source from which it was born, vanishing entirely now. The tiger is now a monument of peace, a creature that has realized that the enemy was never outside, but a projection of his own soul. A soft, inner radiance begins to emanate from the beast, a symbol of the clarity that comes when we finally stop fighting our own distorted perceptions. When he opens his eyes again, the world looks different. The trees are greener, and the fear that once ruled him is gone forever today. He rises with a new kind of majesty, one born of self-mastery rather than raw power, feeling light as if a heavy chain has broken. He walks forward into the deepening dusk, not once glancing behind him to see if the shadow still follows, for he knows its true, empty nature. The sage watches him go, a silent blessing in his gaze, knowing that another soul has found the path from struggle into the bright light. We are all like that tiger, often trapped in a cycle of fighting shadows that we have created through our own fears, anxieties, and deep regrets. In the modern world, our shadows take the form of stress, the weight of the past, and the constant, nagging worry about a future not born. We attack our problems with anger and resistance, thinking that if we fight hard enough, we can destroy the negativity that seems to follow us everywhere. Remember the deer who finds contentment in the simple act of being? It does not ask for more than what the present moment has to offer. To find peace, we must learn the art of acceptance, to see our thoughts and feelings for what they are, without judgment or the need to destroy. Imagine your mind as a vast, clear lake. When we throw stones of worry, the surface ripples and becomes distorted, hiding the beauty of the depths. Every negative thought is a stone. If we keep throwing them, we will never see the truth. We will only see the waves of our making. But if we simply wait and watch, the water will settle on its own. The clarity you seek is already there, waiting beneath the surface noise. Like the sage under the tree, we can choose to be the observer of our thoughts rather than the victim of their chaotic and deceptive movements. When you stop feeding your fears with your attention and your resistance, they lose their power over you, eventually dissolving into the nothingness they are. Balance the power of the tiger with the presence of the deer. Be strong enough to face yourself, yet gentle enough to let go today. This is the journey of the soul, moving from the exhaustion of the chase to the effortless peace of simply being present in the here and now. Night falls over the ancient forest, and under the gentle glow of a silver moon, the world seems to breathe in a deep, unified harmony. The tiger now rests peacefully beside the sage, his dreams untroubled by shadows, his heart at home in the silence of the cool, moonlit woods. When the mind is at peace, the entire world reflects that tranquility. There are no enemies left when we stop creating them within ourselves today. May you find the strength to stop the chase and the wisdom to embrace the light. True peace begins within the quiet chambers of heart. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the forest of the mind. Remember to stay still, breathe deep, and let your light lead.